This is the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
From 98.1 CHFI Studios in Toronto, Canada.
Hey Toronto, this is Ed Sheeran.
This is Kelly Clarkson.
Hi, this is Bryan Adams.
This is Adele.
This is Madonna.
It's Michael Bublé, and you're listening to the Pooja and Gurdeep Show. It's fun. They're amazing.
Got pulled over on the way to work this morning.
Oh, no. What a horrible way to start a week.
The week's already off to a great start. I was so close to Jarvis and Wellesley, right by the gas station. I'm like, I could see the Rogers campus. It's like I was right there.
Oh,
so
what were you speeding? What were you doing?
So I got pulled over, and the classic interaction, like got my hands on the wheel. I was a female officer. She's very, very polite. Came up. She's like, just want to let you know the body camera's on. I was like, oh, okay. She goes, do you know why I pulled you over? And I go, well, I know I wasn't speeding because it's like 40 on Jarvis and I'm not going very fast. She goes, no, you weren't speeding. She goes, I pulled you over because you have a headlight out.
Oh.
Which I didn't even realize, but totally reasonable to pull me over. It's dark out. I get it. You'd be very noticeable in the morning.
Well, but if it's a headlight, was she coming the opposite
direction? She was coming the opposite way, and then I saw her pull a Yui behind me, and I'm just thinking, oh, I hope she's not pulling a Yui for me. And then sure enough, the lights go on.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, she was a very young officer, too. It almost felt like it was very by the book. It felt sort of like maybe it might have been like her first week on the job or something, which is great. I appreciate someone who's by the book. So they do the whole thing. They go back to the car, and you're kind of waiting. And this is when I texted you and Steph on our group chat, and I'm like, "Hey guys, going to be a little late this morning because you don't know how long you're going to be pulled over for." So when she came back to the car, given that I had one headlight out, I thought she would find this funny. I put this on the radio.
Oh my God, I love them.
Yeah, she was a younger officer. She looked at me. She had no idea. She looked at me like, "Why are you playing music?" That's one headlight by
now
the
you're
wallflowers.
Just upsetting her even more.
I thought,
wow.
Honestly, I thought it would break the tension, and then she'd be like, go get your headlight fixed. Have a nice day, kind of thing. So I'm thinking I'm getting no tickets. Try to turn on the charm a little bit.
Oh
funny
my
joke.
goodness.
She did not know the song. Probably was like, "Why is this jerk playing music? This is a serious situation."
No.
I got 2 tickets.
What?
2?
One for playing music?
Yeah.
One for playing Jacob Dylan. No. So one for the one headlight, $110.
Oh.
She handed me a second ticket. She gave me back my permit. She goes, "You have not signed the back of your permit in ink. That's a $110 ticket."
What?
I go, what? Did you guys know
Your
this?
permit, like that green little thing that we have, that we
You
put
have-
in our glove, which they actually tell you not to do anymore.
Not to put it in the glove box?
Yeah.
You're supposed to carry it on you. It's not supposed to stay in your car.
Yeah.
But everyone
anyway.
leaves it in their glove box.
You have to sign the back of it in ink. So then I was like,
Sign it?
I looked at her, I had no idea. And I thought it might be one of those things. She's like, just sign it now and whatever.
Yeah.
$110 ticket.
No!
So I'm doing this as a PSA because I've told this story to 10 people and no one was aware of this. You have to sign the back of your permit in ink if you're driving right now, if you're about to get in the car. Do it.
Do it right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go check. I don't think I'd have mine signed.
I did mine right there, but still got to take it.
Wow.
Not in pencil.
Not in pencil.
In
ink
pen.
specifically.
Wow.
Did you have a song that matched that you don't have your permit signed? Was there lyrics that matched that?
I did, but it was before her generation. She didn't know it.
Gary in Uxbridge, what do you think about this?
I heard the headlight ticket, and I went, that's BS.
BS, why?
It's BS. Because what happens is, go to the local police station, get the headlight fixed. Say, look, I just got this ticket yesterday. I fixed the headlight because I did not realize it was out. They will cancel the ticket.
Really?
They should cancel the ticket, yes.
And what about the not signing? Were you aware that you had to sign the back of your permit in
I
ink?
did not know that at all, no.
Wow.
And again, that's something that they should she should say, you should sign it now and have you sign it and then everything's good. She's just trying to make a point.
She seemed very new on the job, so I appreciate that she's by the book, just doing her job. But it's funny, Gary, you have a lot of random knowledge. I thought you, of all of our regulars, I thought you would know that you have to sign the. If you don't even know, then I feel like nobody knows.
No, what you can do is you can apply for the pre-court adjudication, and they will usually drop it then.
Okay, good to know. How often has this happened to you, Gary?
No, I did not have my insurance slip on me, and I got a ticket for that. I went to the pretrial. I said, look, I had a proof of insurance. It just wasn't the valid one, right? And he went, okay, fine, we'll throw that out.
What do you think of the musical interlude that
I thought that was priceless. I was killing myself laughing when you did that. I know that song. Yeah, what headline?
What's wrong with me that this is where my brain goes while I'm getting pulled over?
I love where your brain goes. You're as twisted as I am.
Thanks for the call, Gary. Appreciate you.
Have a great one.
You too.
Bye.
From CHFI Studios,
It's the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
It's National Flatmates Day.
Oh, tell me this was started in the UK without telling me it started in the UK.
It's just so fun to say flatmates.
Flatmate.
Or how about roommates? And,
Roommates.
if you've been there and you can remember a time when you lived with your roommates, maybe you currently have a roommate. I wonder, is this a day that you're celebrating your roommate, or is this a day where you're rolling your eyes going, oh, roommates?
Could really go either way,
Yeah.
depending on your relationship with your roommate. I mean, you've got a roommate. You've got 3 roommates right now.
I do.
You got 2 little baby roommates?
Yeah, and they're not moving out anytime soon. They're going to be there for a while. But I've never had a roommate.
Like, you've never had an actual roommate that wasn't your husband?
Yeah, I don't know what it's like to live with other people other than my family.
Even in New York, you were solo.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
What about you?
I've had roommates once, in the dorm, my buddy from high school, but then in years 2 through 4 at McMaster, it was that same buddy from first year plus 6 other guys. I lived with 8 guys at Mac.
Oh my gosh.
And let me tell you, it was amazing. We had like a really organized student house. We kept it neat. People would come over and be like, oh man, 8 guys, this must be a disaster.
I was going to say I would not want to go in that
No,
bathroom.
we had like a cleaning schedule. Like because one of the guys was very particular about cleaning. So he came up with a cleaning schedule. We each had tasks. If we didn't do it, he was on us. So people would come
Really?
over, like girlfriends at the time would come over and be like, wow, your place is like way more organized than ours.
And they'd be like, and is that a scent? Is that pumpkin spice in the air?
Like it's lavender. It's eucalyptus. And to the point where we're all so close still, we have an annual get-together in Belleville. One of my friends, Tim, who's a teacher, he hosts us all out there. We tell the same stories every year, and they're still hilarious.
Wow.
Couldn't have gone better.
Normally when people talk about roommates, they don't just have such a rosy picture of it, but sounds like
Listen,
everything was great.
We got up to shenanigans. We had great bar night, like just the most hilarious stories and a lot of stuff I can't even talk about here on the show. But just, yeah, I think of it very fondly. Like my time at Mac and those friends are very special to me.
Interesting. There was never anything that was like petty or like, oh, that was mine in the fridge and you ate it. It was nothing like that.
I mean, that would happen on occasion, but I mean, compared to the average bear, I'd say we were in the 99th percentile of roommates in terms of how well we got along.
Oh, really? Okay, interesting. Because I'm so curious. I work with you every day, but I'm so curious as to what it's like to live with you.
Probably like amazing.
Obviously.
I think I'm a considerate like roommate. I clean up after myself for the most part. Like, I don't leave too much mess around.
Oh, interesting. Because what I actually did is I went ahead and I reached out to your best friend, Mace.
You what?
Yep, who you lived with. And I asked him to share a story with me about being your roommate.
Yeah, you probably only have good things to say. He's my best friend. What do you mean?
Guess what? He not only did he share the story with me, I recorded it and I have it for you.
What did he
I'm going
say?
to play it for you next.
Come on.
I'm going to
Stop
play
it.
it for you next. Let's just say it. Maybe not as rosy as you described it.
Oh, dear.
The Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
from 98.1 CHFI.
Well, it's interesting because I think if you ask most people about roommates, they have stories, good and bad.
For sure.
You only shared the good ones. So I decided to call your best friend, Mace, who is your former roommate, to ask him what it was like living with you. And here he is.
So every morning, like clockwork, Gurdeep would leave his already worn boxers hanging off the inside of the bathroom doorknob.
Once in a
And
while.
every morning, groggy, I'd stumble in, do my business, and bam, handful of used leopard print boxers because I'd have to turn the doorknob to get out. Cue the daily ritual, a deep scream of disgust from me, followed by grabbing the kitchen tongs, gripping those boxers like an active grenade, and launching them right at his head every single day. Worst roommate ever.
Okay.
Worst
First of
roommate
all,
ever.
I can't believe you called my best friend. Delete his number from your phone. It wasn't every single day, Mace. It's probably happened like a dozen times in the 3 years we lived together.
Okay.
Yes. Sometimes, I'd go to shower. I was a little absent-minded. When I'd leave I'd hang my boxers on the back of the door.
But why there?
But because
Put
it was
them on the floor.
I don't want my boxers on the floor.
You're going to be washing them anyway.
I know. What the floor?
You hope.
I live with 8 guys. They're disgusting.
You don't put it on the door because people have to touch the door.
The inside, but usually I'd grab it on my way out, but sometimes I forgot. And then Mace would shower after me, and he'd go in. And once you're in there, the only way out is to turn the door handle, and you have to touch my boxers. He'd get so mad. My door would fling open. He wouldn't even knock, and he'd be holding the kitchen tongs, and he would whip the boxers at my head. He'd be like, take your gross boxers.
There are so many things here. It's the door handle. It's the tongs. Those tongs are now used to cook with. I mean,
I think they just became boxer tongs after a while.
Boxer tongs. That's a thing. Wow. I don't want to live with you, man. I don't think anybody should. You're better off on your own.
This is why I'm so alone. That's the real reason.
Happy National Roommates Day.
From CHFI Studios,
It's the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
I came across this post and it was just so lovely. It warmed my heart that I thought I would share it with you. And it was one of these situations where a mom was posting about her 4-year-old son. They were in the car together and he was sitting in the back seat. And as they were driving, there was someone in front of them who was driving very slowly. And so the mom said, what's wrong with this guy? He's driving so slow. And her son, who's 4, piped up in the backseat and he said, maybe they're driving with their goldfish and they don't want the water to spill out of the tank.
That's sweet.
Which is adorable.
Yeah.
And so then the mom was like, oh yeah, okay. And, started to play along and she was like, yeah, maybe they have groceries that they need to balance and they don't want the eggs to fall out and crack, right?
Okay, all right.
And then the kid added in, maybe their dog is in the car and they just wanted to keep the dog calm.
That's true. Some dogs don't like being in cars, especially if it's like a puppy.
Yeah. So this sort of became their game and it was just fun to do. They call it the maybe they game.
Oh,
And her
okay.
son actually said, I really love when we play the maybe they game. So
it's like giving someone the benefit of the doubt kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay,
and they
that's
were
nice.
at the grocery store and they saw a little kid was having a tantrum. And instead of saying that kid's being loud, they went, maybe they lost their favorite stuffy. Maybe he misses his data. This is sort of how they go about looking at, a situation where, let's face it, we all make assumptions. We do it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't do it on purpose. Sometimes it just happens. And,
Right. Sometimes your mind just goes somewhere naturally and it can tend to gravitate somewhere judgmental or negative.
Yeah. And so her whole point was, if we're going to be making assumptions anyway, why not focus on positive assumptions instead
Give
of the
people-
negative ones?
Give people the benefit of the doubt.
And
Lead with positivity.
I just really love that this was all came from a 4-year-old who just, innocently was like, well, maybe they've got a goldfish and they don't want to spill the water out of the tank, and just really changes the mindset and your frame of reference when you're talking about something.
Yeah, that's kind of nice. I mean, sometimes I feel like you probably learn stuff from your kids, right? It just stops you in your tracks. I don't know if
Yes.
this happened yet with Sia and Bodhi. They're probably going to drop some knowledge on you at some point. And you're going to be like, oh my goodness.
Well, you do realize, when you're parenting young kids, you realize sometimes you can be a little negative, or sometimes, the way you phrase something, you're like, that wasn't the best way to phrase it, because kids will bring that out in you. And I wonder whether it's a younger kid or even if your kids are fully grown and now you're watching them as parents or you're seeing them in their adult life, that maybe you've looked to your kids and you're learning from them.
I bet that probably happens all the time. The kids haven't there's no cynicism in kids that young because they haven't experienced super negative things probably at that young age. So they're it's natural for them. Their default is positivity, right?
Yes.
I mean, as adults, we experience things, we get hurt. We don't trust people sometimes in certain situations, and that makes us lead with a negative assumption.
Yeah.
I love that. So what have you learned from your kids, whether they're still little or fully grown?
Yeah, I'd love to hear from you because I'm sure that we could all take some lessons away from, our kids.
Mm-hmm.
The Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
This is the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
I came across a story of a mom who learned from her 4-year-old not to make negative assumptions about people, instead to have positive assumptions and lead with empathy. And it was so moving.
I love that. It's very innocent, but something we can probably learn from watching how kids process things.
So true. Let's go to Ed in Toronto. So Ed, you've been under the weather. What have you learned from your kids?
What I learned from the children is even on the big picture, but also through this sickness, it's like, hey, Dad, listen to yourself, and your body will know what to do and what not to do. And believe in yourself. It's just such a blessing that I can get it from all of them. So thank you so much, for everything.
Yeah, valuable reminder there, Ed. Thanks a lot, and hope you're on the mend.
I hope you enjoyed your weekend and your mother took care of the condo.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm still kind of looking around going, something feels different. Thanks, Ed.
Keep well.
We're getting a lot of texts here. William from Acton saying, this is what I've learned. Silence is not golden. It's suspicious. Very true. Very true.
I love that. Janice from Alliston texting in, I've learned that the little moments, bedtime stories, holding hands, belly laughs, are what I'll cherish forever. Oh, that's really sweet.
That is so nice. Okay, here's another one from Raj in Brampton. I've learned that I thought I was in charge. I was wrong.
It sounds like he's got young kids.
Yeah, yeah.
Michael from Niagara Falls texting in saying, forgiveness comes quickly when you're small. It's a lesson adults could stand to remember.
This is so true.
Forgiveness comes. Yeah, that's true, I guess. Again, because when you're that little, you're not really holding on to trauma.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like your forgiveness doesn't have to work its way through all these layers and scar tissue.
It's so true.
It just comes naturally.
I just realized that Sia, my daughter who's 2.5, I was like, I guess I was making a face and I was like scowling at her and she was like, what's wrong with your face? And I was like,
Fix your face, Mom.
Yeah, she was basically saying, fix your face. I said, oh, she goes, why are you looking at me like that? And then she goes, take a deep breath.
What?
She told me to take a deep breath.
Where did she learn that from?
Somebody told her to take a deep breath, I guess. And
did you and Paul ever say it to each other like in an argument?
No.
Where did she learn that?
Maybe at school. Yeah, maybe at school.
Well,
but
that's good.
But lessons learned from her. Like, just take a deep breath. Calm down, Mom.
Like, Mommy, take a deep breath. We're going to go do a cold plunge. Like, how do you know about cold plunges?
She's like, don't even get me started on a sound bath.
From CHFI Studios,
It's the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
We have tickets all week to this Friday's game against the Orioles. So game 2 of 162.
And it's pretty easy to win these tickets. All you got to do is tell us if this is you. We give you some criteria. If it's you, you text "this is me" and your full name to 981-981. So you ready? Here we go.
Okay.
Is this you? You know which back-to-back years the Jays won the World Series. Is this you? You can name the player who is famous for the bat flip in 2015. We all remember that. Mm-hmm. And this one is brought to you by Gurdeep. Alawalia. I'm not taking any credit for this. Is this you? You can reenact the bat flip without hurting anyone right now with whatever you have handy.
Yeah, so if you're listening right now, like maybe you're in the kitchen, there's like a salt shaker or like a pen.
No.
Or like whatever, your work pass. Like I got my work pass in my hand. This is my work pass, right? So if I'm reenacting the bat flip, just whip my work pass. Just
How are
whip
we
it.
going to verify this? They're
Well,
on
we
the
have
phone.
to hear it. We have to hear something clank or fall or hit. Don't break anything. Don't hurt anyone. Just gently toss
Why
it.
do
Just
I
like,
go
hey,
along
look,
with your
hey, look,
ideas?
this is my pen. I'm bat flipping it. Look, first ding, and then just bat flip my pen. That's all you got to do.
Okay. If you don't do that third one, I'm still going to give you the tickets.
No, you cannot. No, if you don't do it, you get a...
Okay.
I've got these little throat lozenges because I'm a little under the weather right now, so something close to you, right? So like bat flip.
Okay. I understand how to do it.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I
that was
heard
a lozenge bouncing off the mic.
Everyone heard it. I'm just wondering, how are we going to verify this when
we need to
call
hear
them?
something clank in your place. Come on. We need to
Okay.
hear something clank in your place. Just throw something that's not going to break, that's not going to hurt anyone. Bat flip
dear.
it just like you know who did. Anil Mahangu of Innisfil texted in to win Blue Jays tickets for this Friday against the Baltimore Orioles, but we have to find out, Pooj, if this is him.
Anil, are you a big Jays fan?
Been since 1988.
Oh,
Ooh,
nice.
okay.
Okay, so this should be a breeze for you.
Let's see here, Anil, if you know these answers. Is this you? You know which years the Blue Jays won the World Series in back-to-back years.
In 1992 and 1993.
Yeah. Okay, is this you, Anil? You can name the player who's famous for the bat flip that happened in 2015.
Yeah, that's Jose Bautista.
Okay, this is the tricky one right here and the most fun one. Anil, you can reenact Jose Bautista's bat flip without hurting anyone right now with whatever you have handy. I know you were driving, you've pulled over. So is there anything in your car you can verifiably bat flip right now? We need to hear it.
Oh, okay, hold on a second. I'm just pulling them off my glove compartment.
It's gonna bat flip
You guys
his
hear that?
ownership and residency. No, sorry, I was talking. Do it again.
Oh, hold on a second. I got to find it. I lost it.
What did you
Okay,
throw?
1 second. One of the things where you put the ownership and stuff in the glove compartment.
Don't lose that.
No, on the
sign
window does. I'm throwing it against the window. Let's hope it doesn't break.
And sign the back of your permanent ink.
Hold on 1 second again.
Okay. Oh, I heard that.
We heard it.
All right, there you go.
Is everybody okay?
Yeah, everybody's okay.
Yay, congratulations. You are going to see the Jays play as part of their home opener, their season opener on Friday.
Thank you.
Anil, who you taking with you, buddy? You just want a pair.
I'm just taking my wife.
You're just taking your wife. I love it. Don't bat flip her. Anil,
No, I
thanks so
won't.
much for playing. Drive safe, and thanks for listening to the Pooja and Gurdeep Show.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
Listen to Pooja and Gurdeep live weekday mornings from 5 to 9.
Only on 98.1 CHFI.
Toronto's perfect music mix.